All right, guys, today in class we talked about how to multiply decimals, and I had you guys think back to when we just multiplied multi-digit numbers. We're going to use those same steps today, except then at the end we have to put in our decimal point. So just think back, it's exactly the same process, except at the end we have to put in our decimal point. So how to multiply decimals, couple things. Number one, like I said, we're just going to multiply just like normal, okay? Number two, then we're going to count the number of numbers that are behind the decimal in both numbers. Then we're going to place our decimal point in the product, that just means the answer, according to how many places that we counted in step 2. Okay, so if you remember, we talked about when we're multiplying decimals, we don't have to line up the decimal point because we're just going to put it in at the end. So again, we talked about if you have graph paper at home, this is a great opportunity to use it because it's going to keep all of our numbers nice and neat and lined up so we don't get confused when we get down to adding in placeholders and stuff like that. So if you have graph paper, use it, put one number per box. All right, so let's take a look at example 1 here. Remember, we said we don't have to line up the decimal point because we're just going to put it in at the end. So we have 8.45. Again, put my decimal point on a line. It doesn't get its own box or anything weird like that. Times 2.1. And again, they don't have to be lined up because we're going to put that decimal point in at the end. So we're going to set this up and we're going to multiply just like normal. So we normally multiply multi-digit numbers. We take this first number here and we're going to multiply it by everything on the top row. So we have 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 4 is 4, and then 1 times 8 is 8. Okay, now we are done with this 1. Normally on my paper I just cross it out because I'm done with it. So we're going to come down here and put a placeholder. We're going to put our 0 down here because we're done with it. Then we're going to move on to our next number and we're going to multiply it times everything across the top row. So we have 2 times 5 is 10. So I'm going to put my 0 down here and carry my 1. 2 times 4 is 8, plus the 1 I carried is 9. Then 2 times 8 is 16. Okay, so now we have our 2 rows of numbers, and all we have left to do, this is just like normal, this is what you already know, we're just going to add them up. So we're just going to add straight down the columns. 5 plus 0 is 5. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 9 is 17. So we're going to carry our 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. 1 plus nothing is 1. Now, this is our new piece. Okay, this is where we're going to count the number of numbers that are behind the decimal. So we have a 4 behind it, a 5 behind it, and a 1 behind it. And I like to circle those just so I make sure I get everything. So that means in our answer, we need 1, 2, 3 places behind our decimal point. So out of sight, it always starts at the right, and then we're going to move it 3 times to the left. So our answer is 17.745.